second art show I've ever had in my life. I had one in Missouri 3 years ago at the college I graduated from. They called me one day, the president called me one day and said, you're going to be inducted into the Education Hall of Excellence. I said, great, come to homecoming. So next day the gallery director called and said, we voted you the Alumni Artist of the Year. I said, I haven't painted a painting in 35 years.
That's why.
So anyway, I said, give me 24 hours, and I found out I had enough work from Georgia Peabody College for Teachers. That's where I did my master's degree, and one of those paintings is back there. Little Albert, wherever that is. Yeah, and then at Murray State University, we had faculty studios in the art building, and I went in and said, as an art educator, can I have a studio? And they said, sure. So this one and the art one down there was done at Murray State. And that's when I got into my white on white. And somebody said, why did you start that process? Well, I'd love to go to the printmaking room. And in the printmaking room, they do the embossing prints, just running the wet paper through on a plate, and it just puts an indentation into the paper, and very little color, very little black. And so I said, can I simulate that on a canvas? Well, I can't wet it and run it through a press. It's not going to hold. So I started experimenting with modeling paste. And modeling paste is very thick, and it's very difficult to paint with it. And then so I started thinking, well, I need to come up with some way, so maybe I should use a stencil. So I bought some stencils, letter stencils. And the first one I did was called number 5. And like number 8, the 5 was the biggest color, and then the rest of the background was numbers. And the art department at Murray State would send a lot of artwork to Evansville, to the Mid-States Art Exhibition, which was a big show back then. I don't think they do it anymore. And I saw that it was a contemporary judge from Chicago, one of the galleries in Chicago. I thought, well, maybe number 5 will get in there. Well, it did. It got in the show. And so about a week later, I get another letter from Evansville that said that the judge chose your work as one of the 25 best works in the show, and could we keep it for a year and send it around to other museums? So that started this whole thing on white on white. The first one was a success. My goal was to do 100 of them. I've done 6 so far. But that's because I did not paint for 34 years. And then people say, well, why didn't you paint for 34 years? Well, when I came here to work on my doctor's degree, there was some politics, and I'm not going to get into that. But I had started taking photography classes. I was sitting in on the photography classes at Murray State to learn photography. I learned how to print and develop film and use multiple negatives and all that kind of stuff. So I studied photography with Larry Graham and had a wonderful 3 years at the studio. And then I got asked to stay on faculty, and things just didn't work out to go back to painting. It was taking care of student teachers the first 3 years, as well as teaching 3 classes. Then I directed the graduate doctor program for 10 years, and then I was chair for 12 years. So that kept me busy. And also, I never had a studio. And he said, go downtown and get a studio. I'm a homebody. I'm not going to go downtown by myself and paint. So 3 years ago, Culver called and said, Culver Stockton College called and said, could you have an art show? Sharon said, you can set your studio up in the living room. So my studio is in the living room. Furniture's around the edge, and my painting is right in the middle. Now, all of these paintings were in the living room last week when my 10-year-old grandson was here, and we brought them down here, and they put them up. They had to go back to Albuquerque, and that's why we have the New Mexico painting, because we've been to all those places in New Mexico. My son has lived out there. So my 10-year-old grandson said, why do we have to go down and look at them? They've been in the living room since I've been here. I looked at them all. We brought them down here. But anyway, a variety of styles. I don't have a particular technique. I don't have a particular style. I like subject matter, so basically there's a story behind every one of these. I could talk for an hour, if you want me to.
Go ahead.
There's a reason why I do the things that I do. I particularly like the white on white. And this one started, let me just tell you the story behind this one. The fact that I had number 1 and I did the art one at Murray State, number 5, I mean in the art one down at Murray State. So I started number 8 and I had this part of it done. Not any of this, but this, just the 8 and this done. And I was watching the Olympics and Ono, the speed skater, was on. And he said, you have 8 gold medals. Are you going for number 9? He said, no. 8 is a lucky number in my belief, my yin-yang belief. And my whole philosophy, I will not go for number 9. I'll 8. So I went on the internet and found out all the things lucky about number 8. And it's all, most of it's written down here. I also found out all the information about yin-yang philosophy. And yin and yang came here, balance and infinity are 2 things out of this whole thing of number 8. This is the Chinese writing for yin, this is the Chinese writing for yang. I kept thinking somebody's going to come in and know how to write Chinese and say that's not correct.
I was going to say something, but
I copied the best as I could, looking at it on the internet. But where the original ones just basically had the white on white, now I've started adding on this junk. Not junk. Facts about it. Facts about number 3. I love this one here. 3. I can't even read now. Degrees of lies. Lies. Damned lies and statistics. But anyway, so any questions? I went pretty quick. I could tell you a story about every one of them. Everyone has a story behind it.
What'd you shoot today?
I didn't play golf today. I played with you yesterday, though. And we won $50.75.